Hello there, boys and girls. Adam Nicholas here for WhatCulture Wrestling, bringing you a solo news. Look, no accompaniments, no lovely Adam Cleary, nothing today because it's Saturday. And who in their right mind would be here to bring you all of today's lovely wrestling content? Well, this guy. That's exactly who. Now, we've got a lot of stories to run through here, so I am going to be just firing them off the bat. No lovely introduction, nothing like that, because there's some very pressing matters to attend to here. However, obviously, we're not going to get the usual wonderful deep dives that you would get from me and Adam Cleary rambling on for hours on end. It's just going to be me, and it's just going to be the news. Today is strictly the news. Call me the front of the plane, because I am all business today, everybody. Right, we start off with a huge story today revolved around Vincent Kennedy McMahon, your best friend, my lovely friend. Well, it seems he's in a spot of bother when it comes to the WWE stockholders. Now, obviously, as we know, Vince McMahon is starting up the XFL in 2020, which sounded like a long time ago, but now is just a matter of days away. Well, it seems that we were obviously going to be interested to see where his sort of focuses would lie moving forward with WWE and obviously with the XFL starting up in 2020. Well, it seems some of his stockholders and shareholders share those same concerns, because he's being sued by one of the WWE stockholders who was trying to have a look at the details, the internal details, I should say, revolved around WWE and revolved around Vince McMahon and WWE and how much the focus is going to be on XFL, how much their involvement is going to be. And there's a little quote here from Bloomberg Law, who are the source for this, who have given us the details for this story. They basically said, the lawsuit filed on December 26th in Delaware Chancery Court by an Oklahoma firefighters pension fund claims there is a credible basis to believe that McMahon and other WWE senior officers breached their duties to investors by diverting valuable resources to the XFL. The suit also suggests that the company's board members may have failed to conduct appropriate oversight to ensure that McMahon didn't engage in transactions that conflict with WWE's interests. Now, that's specifically interesting because obviously with WWE trying to operate, we've just seen they've landed big deals with Fox and the USA Network. They're trying to push that company forward while obviously starting up the XFL in 2020. There was always bound to be some sort of murky lines between. People weren't sure how it was going to work, and it seems that has filtered through into this report. So obviously we don't have any more at this time, but well, not exactly a great start for Vince. And obviously if you've got the shareholders upset now, perhaps maybe you'd suggest that maybe someone's trying to just get a little peek under the hood, and obviously they've got some concerns. Fair enough, can't really argue there. Let's move over though to AEW now, who, well, we've gone from one authority figure in WWE. Let's go to a potential other one in their rival company. Now, a lot of people have had comments regarding AEW's booking over the last couple of weeks, specifically last week where we saw the ending where people weren't necessarily happy with the Dark Order, with all these things and certain decisions that have been made on the show, perhaps not verified, not kind of made as believable as you would like or sensical, because there hasn't been some sort of driving force, some authority figure perhaps enforcing these things that might not seem like they're following the beats, shall we say, of storylines. Well, it seems that is potentially going to be addressed by AEW. WrestleVotes are reporting on Twitter that they have got themselves a rare non-WWE drop. They say, I regularly talk to someone in the wrestling business not directly tied to WWE. AEW are considering adding a commissioner-type figure to TV. Name to watch is Taz, of course, formerly of WWE and Impact Wrestling, who recently finished up with his CBS radio job. Not sure if it does happen, but it makes it interesting nonetheless. Now, it should be noted that Taz, obviously, well, long history in the wrestling business. Let's not forget, a massive ECW stalwart back in the day. Plenty to offer in terms of knowledge and in terms of commentary, let's be honest. And as a figure, a perfect role perhaps for him, but he will be making his debut on AEW Dynamite for the homecoming show in Jackson on January the 8th episode. Basically, could that be a tie-in? Could that potentially be him sitting down? Yes, we've seen him do some commentary on AEW Dark. He will now obviously be doing commentary on AEW Dynamite for the first time, but will that lead to a bigger role for Taz in AEW? We're not so sure, but we'll have to wait and see regarding that. Let's move on now to The Fiend, WWE's The Fiend, who was obviously a big, well, how should we put this? He's divided fans over the last few weeks in WWE, certainly specifically since Hell in a Cell, where things went spectacularly wrong, it's fair to say, with Seth Rollins. It's been hot and cold for The Fiend, but he's still one of the most interesting talking points in WWE, it's fair to say. Well, he did not feature on last night's episode of SmackDown. People were perhaps suggesting because we had the big triple threat match between Daniel Bryan, Baron Corbin and The Miz to determine who would face him at the Royal Rumble in 2020. Well, Daniel Bryan came out victorious. Spoiler alert, apologies, I realise it's a bit late for that one, but hey, help me out here. Nobody point me to tell me in the right direction. Just trying to wing this. Give me a chance. Anyway, Daniel Bryan came out victorious. He will be facing The Fiend at the Royal Rumble 2020, which obviously happens at the end of January next year, which is exciting stuff, but The Fiend was nowhere to be seen on SmackDown. He did, however, come out for a lovely little dark match with Daniel Bryan. I guess to send the fans home happy, is that what we want to call this? I guess. The Fiend came out. There's kind of conflicting reports, yeah? I mean, we saw basically the Fiend came out for the dark main event with Bryan. Conflicting reports whether the match was actually announced or whether this was more of a bit of a brawl, but either way, Fiend came out and got a huge pop by all accounts and was one of the biggest of the night, but came out Sister Abigail to Daniel Bryan, followed by a mandible claw, which we're being told wasn't exactly, it didn't go down well with the audience, despite the fact he was so well received on his appearance. But yes, The Fiend and Daniel Bryan set for the Royal Rumble, didn't come out last night on SmackDown, but did feature afterwards, which, let's be honest, has kind of happened after most of the SmackDowns we've seen recently, because it's what they do now with the red lights, and it's all lovely, all very exciting. Yeah, what are you going to do? Let's go back across now to AEW and talk about their Executive Vice President, Cody Rhodes, who recently has been filing a few trademarks, as we've seen over the past couple of months. Well, he's trying to apply for another one regarding the name and trademark for his father's name, Dusty Rhodes. That makes sense, obviously, I guess, especially with the brand warfare going on at the moment, want to lock that down. However, it was rejected. It was rejected by the United States Patent and Trade Office, but not for the reason perhaps you might think. We've obviously seen Vince McMahon try to put a roadblock in the way of some of the things that they've done recently. This, ironically, was because of his brother, Dustin Rhodes, and not anything, not anything nasty, I should point out, in terms of Dustin, but because of the similarities of the two names, it seems that they weren't happy to grant the patent. I should point out what they've said in their quote here. They've said, here the marks share one term, Rhodes and a highly similar Dustin, and share the same overall commercial impression of that of a surname and given name, respectively. Given the similarity in appearance, sound, and meaning of the marks are confusingly similar. And how great is it that the word marks is in this more than once? Oh yes, wrestling, what a wonderful business. Now, you would think this is going to be fairly easily resolved because, let's be honest, I can't imagine Dustin Rhodes isn't going to want his little brother and the family to have the trademark and patent for the name Dusty Rhodes. Of course, it would be a shame if WWE were to get their hands on it. Now, we're being told it's very simple. Cody Rhodes' lawyers are involved with this. They're the ones trying to sort the patent, and it seems like there's not going to be much of an issue here. Either they can appeal it, which seems completely unnecessary, or they go to the holder of the current trademark, Dustin Rhodes, and ask for their blessing. I can't imagine they're going to struggle with that. So expect to see Cody and his family landing that trademark in the not too distant future. Now over to it back to WWE, which is going to kind of flip between the two today. Dash Wilder, an update on his injury status, because previously on Thursday it would have been for a house show in Cincinnati, Dash Wilder was not featured. He was, well, I'd say he was injured, but he was kept off from a match between himself, Scott Dawson, the Lucha House Party, and the New Day that was scheduled for a house event. He said, as they said, I think there's something about his jingle bells. He had his bells jingled. Wasn't feeling too good. Basically stealing one from Mauro Ranallo's playbook. Either way, he didn't feature. It was Curtis Axel, of all people, who helped Scott Dawson as his tag team partner. Obviously didn't help him enough because the New Day ended up getting the victory, but that is all irrelevant. The main reason behind this was Dash Wilder was not medically cleared, or certainly was being held away from this in terms to keep him healthy. Now, we have a report from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, who said that he was kept off the live event for precautionary reasons. Now, he was expected that he'd be medically cleared and fit to go and feature on last night's episode of SmackDown, but of course, the Revival did not feature in terms of a match, at least, and obviously no actual explanation yet as to what the injury is or what it was for. It seems it was precautionary at the moment, which could suggest any amount of things, whether that's due to some sort of concussion precaution, or whether it's something else, we don't know. We can only speculate at this time. But fingers crossed, Dash Wilder will be back in action nice and quick, because let's be honest, who doesn't want the Revival to be fully fit and operational? Now, next up, we have some reports. We're staying with WWE, and we got some potential locations for a few pay-per-views in 2020 and 2021. Now, 3 of the big 4 pay-per-views, I should point out, that we have here. The first of the sources comes from WrestleVote, who are reporting that about the locations for Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble. The tweet says, location news, clear frontrunners, if not already official. For 2020, Survivor Series could potentially be headed to Dallas, Texas, and in 2021, the Royal Rumble could be set for a feature in, this one is particularly interesting, Seattle, Washington. Now, why is that interesting? Well, let's be honest, who has a massive history with the Royal Rumble, including a wrestler and the fans and the Rumble itself? Well, it's Daniel Bryan, isn't it? And what better way can you imagine what a Royal Rumble like in Seattle is going to be? I mean, it's either going to be a gift or a curse. Now, assuming, we all want to see Bryan finally get that Royal Rumble win, because it's something the fans have been crying out for since it all went spectacularly wrong back on the build-up towards WrestleMania 30. But Seattle, Washington, that's got to be one of the best locations you can have. If he doesn't win this year, which, well, I'm not against either way, but imagine leaving it. If it is due to be set up in Seattle, what an absolutely amazing atmosphere that would be. Now, the location for WrestleMania 37 is also set to be revealed very soon. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, obviously, it's going to be taking place in 2021. It's WrestleMania 36 next year. That sounds right, doesn't it? Next year, WrestleMania 36. But for WrestleMania 37, we are potentially looking at the new LA Stadium in Los Angeles. Now, it should be pointed out there are a bunch of finalists who are on that list at the moment. That's one of them. Inglewood, California's Mayor, James T. Butts Jr., confirmed that they are also a finalist to host WrestleMania. But on top of that, Las Vegas are also in the mix. So 3 big cities there, big states, I should say, all ready and capable of holding this event. What does WrestleMania look like in Las Vegas? Pretty damn exciting, I would imagine. What does it look like in California? Pretty damn wonderful. And let's be honest, I'd love to see it in that new LA Stadium in Los Angeles. But we're being told potentially for 2022, that might make more sense, because they are also set to have the Super Bowl in 2022. And WWE, being WWE, and you can definitely see this being a Vince McMahon thing, one would love to have the ability to announce a bigger, higher attendance for their big Super Bowl, if you will, than the actual Super Bowl that year. I'd like to tell you that's not the case, but come on, that is right on brand for the company. Let's move across to our final story of today. Wow, we've got to them fairly quickly. I hope we've reached the time limit for this video. New Japan Pro Wrestling, as we all know, a wonderful alternative in the world of wrestling, and we've seen a lot going on with them this year, and specifically we are on the build to Wrestle Kingdom 14, which is very exciting indeed, in just 1 week, that is. So as you can imagine, it's rather worrying to see that there's been a bit of a downturn, shall we say, in their TV plans for 2020. They've recently finished their deal with Access TV, which was confirmed yesterday by Sean Ross Sapp, who spoke with Access TV, who said they have confirmed that New Japan is no longer on their network. That's not fantastic news for New Japan fans in America. New Japan then obviously posted out a tweet on their own account to say that in response to US fans' queries, there are currently no plans for TV broadcast of New Japan events in 2020, Wrestle Kingdom 14 included in the US. Thank you for joining us on TV so far. We invite you to join New Japan World for all action in 2020, live and in English. So they are specifically trying to direct fans towards their online service, which I guess for the time being makes sense. But it does seem such a shame to lose this access for the guys who specifically, or in fact guys and gals who are watching on Access TV. They no longer can. They might not want to go on to New Japan World for whatever reason, but the real crux of the situation here is that we've got Wrestle Kingdom. That is literally happening 1 week today. It'll be happening Saturday and Sunday, January 4th and 5th, a 2-day event, and that is not going to be covered on Access TV. So hopefully they can get that sorted as soon as possible, and moving forward in 2020, fingers crossed someone takes them up, because genuinely a fantastic product, one that I don't get to watch as much as I would like, purely because of these exact reasons, time-wise and coverage-wise. So fingers crossed they can get that sorted in the not too distant future. That is all our news for today. Sorry if that has come across as very rambly and very repetitive, but you know what? Sometimes you just want the news, and sometimes, I was going to say sometimes banter isn't good, but you know, Adam Wilborn would probably kick my arse if I said that. And left on that note, banter is always better, but sometimes it's just about the business. Let us know your thoughts about all of those stories and anything else you might know that we don't know. Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and share. Hit the old subscribe button if you haven't already. You can follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. You can get loads of articles for whatculture.com/WWE, where we've got all sorts of news and all sorts of coverage, particularly end of year stuff, if that's your kind of thing. Get involved with that and have a little look around. There's tons. Best wrestlers of 2019, best matches, best pay-per-views, some worse stuff on there. But yeah, let's keep it positive for the time being. And if you don't want any of that, you can also just watch some more videos. Watch some more videos on our YouTube channel. And if you want, while you're at it, follow me on Twitter at It's Adam Nicholas for all your non-fun wrestling related kind of bollocks. That sounds about right, doesn't it? What an endorsement that is. Anyway, if I don't see you beforehand, which, let's be honest, I may well not, have a fantastic new year. Hope you all had a lovely Christmas, and we will see you more on WhatCulture Wrestling's YouTube channel. Goodbye.